What's up everyone, I'm Tim and this is my channel 40 Times Around, where we talk about everything related to motorcycles, camping, traveling, and adventure. And today we're going to be doing a full breakdown and review of the Kelty TN2 tent as it relates to motorcycle camping. Stick around. First of all, I am a big fan of this tent, but let's talk about what everyone else thinks about it. Backpacker magazine gave Kelty the Editor's Choice Award for the TN2 back in 2014. In 2016, Outside magazine gave them the Gear of the Year award. It's packed solid with a ton of great features, and it's funny because the feature that originally caught my eye and is the main selling point, which is the roll-up Stargate fly, which we're going to get to in a minute, actually isn't the most impressive feature that I've come to love. So this tent is part of the Trail Logic collection. This is a series of gear that is designed to work together as one unit, and I believe the whole setup is kind of marketed at beginners for backpacking. So it's a tent, sleeping bag, sleeping pad, and backpack, and they all kind of pack together seamlessly and they work well together once set up. Now I only have the tent, but this seems like a great feature for anyone concerned with packability. It's a great kit, but each item can of course be used on their own. So getting into the construction of the TN2. If you've seen my video about tent features to look for when choosing a tent for motorcycle camping, you'll know that freestanding is a must for me, and that is something the TN2 definitely offers. I also like that the poles are super lightweight. They're actually an aluminum made by DAC. DAC, or Donga Aluminum Corporation, is the most popular brand of aluminum poles. They use an aluminum alloy that reduces the weight while maintaining strength and flexibility. They use a process known as seamless extrusion. And without boring you, this is an expensive and slow process that makes the microstructure of the aluminum consistent and uniform. Because of this, they are more resistant to cracking, corroding, and stress fractures in some other aluminum poles. I've had this tent now for a little over 2 years, and I've really put it through the gauntlet in that time. And I have had no issues with poles, fabrics, or anything at all for that matter. Now another useful feature is the color-coded clips, and these make setup a total breeze. Okay, so moving through the construction of the tent, the floor seams are taped, another thing I mentioned in my choosing a tent video. And of course you can see this tent is entirely mesh panels, meaning airflow is incredible. There's also some storage pockets inside, which I don't really use, although I probably should. And I'm also a fan of the zippers, which never seem to snag and also are super quiet compared to some zips. There's also a Jake's Foot pole attachment that is pretty convenient too. This is basically a way for the tent fly to share the same stakes because they're both attached to the same poles, meaning it becomes one structure. This also makes setup a lot easier. So the main feature of the fly is this roll-up stargazing feature. And I am a huge fan of this because I prefer to look up at the stars as I fall asleep. And this gives me the ability to do that without the risk of having to leave the tent if it starts to rain and I need to close it. So that is a great feature in my opinion, and like I said, this was the main draw for me. But I think I am really just impressed with the overall structure and build quality of the tent as a whole. And so over the last 2 years using this tent, that has been a feature that has kind of faded to the background for me. Another feature on the fly that I'm really happy with is the taped seams. Honestly, the fly vents could use a little work. Sometimes I end up with a little condensation in that area, but really it's minimal and it's only an issue if I have the fly all the way down. Now the welded clear window is nice too. Sometimes if you hear a noise, you don't want to have to get out of your sleeping bag just to see that it was only a squirrel. So the window is nice to just kind of take a peek out once in a while. Now I haven't needed these yet, but it's nice to know they're there if I needed them. And that's these guy-out loops that I can use to better secure the tent to the ground if needed. Usually this is for really high wind situations. Another thing I like about the tent fly is the color. I think it tends to be less offensive than some tents. I've had orange ones and they don't blend in much at all. The green is at least suited to a lot of environments, natural environments. And I kind of like that aspect of it blending in a little bit at least. I know it's more of a neon and it's not about hiding the tent so much as it is just being more pleasant on the eyes. Okay, let's go over the specs on this tent. Season rating is 3. It has 2 doors, and actually this is another feature I really enjoyed is the D-shaped doors that are really easy to get in and out of. It does have a vestibule on 2 sides also, which I think is great, especially if you have guests with you. It's a 2-person tent, but it is a little tight with all your gear, so I consider this more of a comfortable 1-person tent or a tight fit for 2. It weighs in at 4 pounds 4 ounces, which is not too bad for its size. As far as the floor space, you're getting a roomy 27.5 square feet, which is plenty of room for activities. And don't forget, with the vestibule, you're actually getting an extra 10 square feet on each side. Now the dimensions are going to be 83 inches long, 50 inches wide, and 42 inches tall. Now this tent comes in an odd shaped bag, I think because of the trail logic system I mentioned earlier, and so this was something I discarded almost immediately, but they say the pack size is 11 by 14 inches, and I get it down a lot smaller than that by storing the poles separately. And as I mentioned earlier, the poles are a DAC press fit. The wall materials is a no-see mesh, and this is a lightweight, durable mesh net that helps protect you from bugs while allowing airflow. It does this with its tightly woven fibers that are arranged in an irregular pattern. It will protect you from even the smallest of bugs, so this is definitely something you want to look for in any tent. That's that no-see mesh. So the floor is made with a 70D nylon, which is pretty thick, and that's good for a tent floor. And as far as the tent fly, that's 40 denier, also good for that part of the tent. And so like I said, I'm super happy with this tent. I think it's a good weight for motorcycle camping. I like all the features, great build quality, comes from a trusted brand. I love the ease of setup and the Stargazing fly. The color coordinated clips are great, especially if I'm tired, I've been riding all day and I don't want to fuss around with guessing at how it sets up. The clips are really easy to work. I solo camp a lot and this thing is a breeze to set up alone. Also, there's no stakes needed if you aren't using the fly. And I also think the vestibule is great for storing boots, and actually I usually keep my chair in there because it keeps it away from the dew, so when I wake up I have a nice dry chair to sit in. The price is very reasonable for the value. The price on this tent has dropped recently. Not exactly sure what that is, so I'll just put it right here. And I will go ahead and link to it in the description box below if you guys want to check it out. So that's it. That's the Kelty TN2 and my opinion on it. I hope you guys get something out of this video. If you did, make sure you hit the like button. Don't forget to subscribe if you guys want to see more videos about motorcycles, camping, traveling, and adventure. And don't forget to hit the little bell. That way you guys don't miss anything whenever I post something new. Anyways, thanks for watching. See you next time.